Hi, this is Greg Standen, and thank you for tuning in to the NDIS Marketing Podcast. Did you know that you are just one of over 4,800 providers in New South Wales and over 18,449 providers Australia-wide, trying to assist 554,917 participants on the NDIS in Australia as of the 11th of January 2023? This podcast aims to uncover some of the obstacles NDIS providers and participants face when looking for carers to provide the care that participants require. We will also look at some of the ways that NDIS service providers can better market themselves to the NDIS community. Welcome to the NDIS Marketing Podcast. I know I said in my last episode that this week that we'd take a further deep dive into the world of telemarketing, where we'd look at the next 5 elements that make up a successful telemarketing campaign. But little did I know as I was preparing for this that a deep dive would end up going only over the next 2 crucial elements to a successful telemarketing campaign. So this week we look at the importance of budgets and negotiation skills, as these are vital skills for NDIS providers to survive and have a thriving business. So let's get straight into it. Budgets. The only way that you make money as an NDIS provider obviously is from providing the services that you specialize in providing. Now, the average NDIS package is about $54,300, and rent, say, is about $1,000 a week. Your phone and internet expenses is around about, I'd say, around $100 a month, maybe $200 a month, and electricity is, say, roughly $500 a quarter. Then you also have to pay carers as per the SHADS award. So you're looking at approximately another $4,500 a month per staff member when it comes to wages. So it's not hard to see that you're already over budget by hiring just one carer. So how does NDIS providers survive, considering that their income is also unpredictable, as that depends on the number of participants that they have at any one time and the needs of those participants, then having the right worker to provide the appropriate care to each participant? The answer lies in looking at ways that you can actually, as a business owner, improve your profit margin. But with so little profit margin in a scheme that's dictated to what you can charge for services, it's a little wonder that less than half of all NDIS providers made a profit in 2022. So, in fact, it is reported that a whopping 60% of all providers struggle to stay in business at the current prices. So how do you as a provider actually get your hands on the $35.5 billion that is currently floating around in the NDIS economy right now? The answer is you must get strategic if you're going to survive as an NDIS provider. Now, what do I mean by strategic? Well, you have to, first of all, have a plan for growth of your business. And that starts with having a clear understanding of the current numbers, the numbers within your business, as well as the numbers within the NDIS industry. Then ask yourself, how do I stack up against the industry standard? Then do a cost analysis. Now, a cost analysis involves looking at what each participant is costing you, what is each staff member costing you in terms of wages, superannuation, and other expenses associated with employing them, training, etc. What overheads do you have? Rent, phone, electricity, petrol, and any other overheads that you as a business owner have in terms of running your particular business, and look at ways in which that you can actually bring those costs down. What's your profit margin? And is it sustainable? At the NDIS, I believe the profit margin from what I've seen is probably only about $20 an hour per participant, which is not a lot. So you need to get creative and look at ways in which you can actually improve that profit margin? How can you increase your profit margin in an industry where you're dictated to as to what you can charge? What is your return on investment? Am I getting $2 to $10 back for every dollar that I'm actually putting into this thing? This is something that should be reviewed every 6 months or even more frequently. And ask yourself these questions. What's changed in the last 6 months? Look back at the last 6 months and look at your marketing, look at your books, look at the figures, look at everything that your business has done over the last previous 6 months and figure out look at what's changed compared to the 6 months prior to that. Do you have a realistic plan for growth for the next 6 months? How are you going to grow the business over that next 6 months? Are you going to put out more advertising on social media? Are you going to create more video? Are you going to run a podcast? Are you going to do a telemarketing campaign? How are you actually going to grow the business over the next 6 months based on the last 6 months? And what is that going to cost you? And what is the projected return on that? Then you need to look at what is your financial resilience level and how you can increase it. Now, what is a financial resilience level? That's all about your ability to cope with financial stress and how you actually recover from it. Then look at what is your true financial analysis of the business. What is your financial plan? What are your short-term goals? What are your medium-term goals? And what are your long-term goals? Not only for the business, but for yourself as well. Once you've taken the time to really get clear and get a clear picture of what's happening in your business over a 6-month period, it's only at that point can you then look at ways to improve, like automation, or look at business processes and procedures and decide, do you really need to be doing what it is that you're actually doing? Look at ways of doing things better. What would be a better use of your time? Can you automate, for example, in terms of paying bills or paying staff? Is that something that can be automated? Can you automate some of your marketing procedures? NDIS providers, in my experience, they're really great at providing care and providing the services to disabled people in a wide range of capacities that they're actually formally trained in. So why wouldn't you as a business owner in the NDIS focus on what you're actually good at, i.e. providing the services that you provide? Then get someone else who loves marketing to concentrate on where your next participant's going to come from, or someone who loves finances and numbers to take care of the finances, or get an IT geek to look at all your online marketing and your IT stuff. Basically, what I'm saying is you need to, as a provider, concentrate on one particular thing that you are good at doing and stop trying to be all things to all men. Stop thinking that you are the business and that it cannot run without you. And once you get to that point where you concentrate on what it is that you are good at, then you can just sit back and watch it skyrocket beyond your wildest dreams over the next couple of years. Now, let's look at negotiation skills. How good are you at negotiating? That's a very, very important skill to have within the NDIS and within business in general. Because on a day-to-day basis, you need to be able to negotiate constantly with suppliers, negotiate with participants, negotiations with staff, negotiations with other providers, negotiating with plan managers, negotiating with support coordinators. Negotiation is a part of business, and you don't get good at it, or if you don't get good at it, you could be paying too much for your expenses, or you could end up with the wrong staff and the wrong participants for your particular business, because not every NDIS participant or everyone who works within the NDIS is actually a good fit for you and your business. The power of negotiation basically comes from your ability to fully understand and appreciate good listening skills, as well as knowing the importance of understanding rather than being understood. We were all born with 2 ears and 1 mouth, and I was always taught growing up, use those in that proportion. We've all heard it said a million times, people buy from those they know, like, and trust. And your ability to negotiate with a participant lets the participant know that they are heard, and more importantly, that they are understood. And once you have those two things, that then builds trust where that participant is wanting to do business with you. Negotiation skills are vital to the survival of the NDIS, of any NDIS business. And indeed, I believe the NDIS itself. One of the biggest, if not the biggest factor in negotiation skills is your ability to listen. And as I've just said, we're all born with two ears and one mouth, and listening is about using those in that proportion. So, how do you show your listening and good listening skills? Firstly, pay attention. Listen to understand, not to be understood. Do you understand what the person you're communicating with is saying? Not just in words, but looking at their body language, their tonality. Are you fully understanding and getting a clear picture of what it is they are communicating? Acknowledgement. Give acknowledgement to the person you are speaking to throughout a conversation and let them know that you're listening. Provide feedback. Now, that can only occur once they have acknowledged you are listening to understand and not be understood. You cannot provide feedback to somebody who is not confident that you are listening, because they just will not listen. It will go in one ear and out the other. But once you build trust and rapport, then you can actually earn the right to actually provide feedback. Do not judge. You have no clue what's going on in the world of the person that you are communicating with. So do not be patronizing and assume that you do know what's going on in their life, as that comes across as judgmental. And it also, in a way, is providing a running commentary from your perspective. And the fact is, your consumers, your participants, they don't care about what you have to say. They don't care about your world. All they care about is, I have this problem, can you solve it? The listener doesn't care about your reality, because it's not their reality. All they want, as I've said, is for you to solve their problem and want to know how you're actually going to solve that problem. So respond appropriately. And how do you do that? You ask open-ended questions that are thought-provoking and seek to clarify what was said. Then paraphrase in your own words what you've actually heard. Be in tune with the other person's feelings. As I said, you have no clue what they're going through and what's actually going on in their world. Then summarize finally. Summarize what the conversation was about. Summarize what they've said. And so that way we all know, everybody involved in the conversation knows that everybody is on the same page. In summary, negotiation skills are about being legitimately authentic and building relationships that are built on commitment and open communication. That said, periods of silence can also bring through breakthroughs in negotiation. A good negotiator is open-minded, has charm, can clearly articulate a point of view that is well thought out and based on patience and experience. Negotiation requires a solution, so offer one with strong emotional intelligence. Now, next week, we'll actually look at the importance of product knowledge, and also we will look at the importance of empathy and understanding, as they are vital skills for communication within the negotiation process of onboarding and keeping an NDIS participant, and indeed staff, keeping them all happy and keeping your business moving forward towards your business goals. So I hope you've really enjoyed this episode. As I said, it was going to be a very lengthy episode if I had have continued on doing the whole episode. So I've broken it up a bit, and next week, as I said, we'll look at those next two and maybe a few other pointers in regards to telemarketing and indeed negotiations in terms of business. It doesn't necessarily need to apply specifically to telemarketing, these are all skills and techniques that you can actually use, and tactics that you can actually use in everyday life, and indeed every aspect of your business, not just necessarily in terms of the telephone. And so I look forward to bringing you that episode next week, and have a great week. I've thoroughly enjoyed helping NDIS providers identify their target market and help them implement marketing strategies that will grow their business and strengthen the NDIS community as a whole. So if you're struggling with your marketing strategy, reach out to me by email, greg@hasslefreemarketing.com.au, to book a strategy call. You'll also find more about our services, and don't forget to download our 101 Ways to Market Your Business from the bottom of the homepage. If you'd like to know more about marketing your NDIS business and services to your ideal clients, then head to www.hasslefreemarketing.com.au, where you'll find a bunch of marketing options to suit every budget. Register your email address at the bottom of the homepage to receive our list of 101 ways to market your NDIS services.